First contact. The vast emptiness of space stretched out before Captain Ilara Chen as she guided her small exploration vessel, the Curiosity, towards the uncharted planet below. Its swirling atmosphere of blues and greens reminded her of Earth, but the similarities ended there. This world, designated XP-2547, was a mystery waiting to be unraveled. Ilara's heart raced with excitement as the ship began its descent. After months of solitary travel, she was about to become the first human to set foot on this alien world. The onboard AI, chirped to life. Atmospheric composition analysis complete. Oxygen levels suitable for human respiration detected. Well, that's a stroke of luck, Ilara muttered, her eyes fixed on the approaching landscape. As the Curiosity broke through the cloud cover, she gasped. The terrain below was unlike anything she had ever seen. Massive crystal formations jutted from the ground, reflecting the light of the system's binary stars in a dazzling display of colors. The ship touched down in a small clearing amidst a forest of what appeared to be bioluminescent vegetation. Ilara double-checked her suit's seals before stepping out onto the planet's surface. The gravity was slightly less than Earth's, giving her steps a supple bounce. RIA, begin cataloging flora and fauna. Ilara commanded as she activated her suit's external sensors. She took a few tentative steps, marveling at the soft glow emanating from the surrounding plant life. It was beautiful, ethereal, and completely alien. As she ventured further from her ship, a faint humming caught her attention. It seemed to be coming from beyond a ridge of crystalline structures. Curiosity piqued. Ilara carefully made her way towards the source of the sound. Cresting the ridge, she froze in her tracks. In the valley below stood a massive structure, clearly artificial in nature. Its sleek, curved surfaces seemed to defy gravity, and strange symbols pulsed with an inner light along its sides. RIA, are you seeing this? Ilara whispered, her voice filled with awe. Affirmative, Captain Chen. The structure appears to be of non-human origin. Estimated age, over 10,000 years old based on preliminary scans. Ilara's mind raced. This was it, proof of intelligent alien life. Her mission had just become infinitely more important. She began to make her way down the slope towards the structure, her heart pounding with each step. As she approached, the humming grew louder. The symbols on the structure's surface began to pulse more rapidly, as if reacting to her presence. Ilara reached out a gloved hand, hesitating for just a moment before placing it on the smooth, cool surface. The moment her hand made contact, a blinding light erupted from the structure. Ilara stumbled back, shielding her eyes. When the light faded, she found herself face to face with a holographic projection of a being unlike any she had ever seen or imagined. The alien form was vaguely humanoid, but with elongated limbs and a head that seemed to shimmer and shift, making it difficult to focus on any one feature. When it spoke, the words seemed to form directly in Ilara's mind. Welcome, explorer. We have waited long for this moment. Ilara struggled to find her voice. Who? What are you? The being's form rippled, as if amused. We are the architects. We seeded this galaxy with the building blocks of life eons ago, hoping that one day a species would evolve to reach for the stars. You, human, are the first to activate one of our beacons. Ilara's scientific mind whirled with the implications. You created life in our galaxy. But why? To combat the greatest threat this universe has ever known, the being replied, its tone growing grave. A threat that has devoured countless galaxies and civilizations. We hoped that by nurturing life across this galaxy, we might create allies in our fight. The hologram shifted, showing images of entire star systems being consumed by what looked like a living darkness. Ilara felt a chill run down her spine. This threat, she asked, her voice barely above a whisper, is it coming here? The architect's form seemed to nod. It approaches even now. But hope is not lost. Your species, humans, have shown remarkable adaptability and ingenuity. qualities that may prove crucial in the coming conflict. Ilara's mind reeled. She had come seeking scientific discovery, but instead found herself facing a threat to the entire galaxy. What can we do? How can humanity possibly stand against something like this? The architect's form began to fade. Return to your people, Ilara Chen. Share what you have learned. In this beacon, we have left knowledge, technology beyond your current understanding. Study it. Prepare. For the sake of all life in this galaxy, you must be ready when the darkness comes. With those final words, the hologram disappeared, leaving Ilara alone with the now silent structure. She stood there for a long moment, the weight of this new knowledge heavy on her shoulders. Finally, she activated her comlink. Araya, prepare the Curiosity for immediate departure. We're heading back to Earth. Priority 1 message to Space Command. First contact achieved. Galactic threat imminent. Prepare for briefing upon arrival. As Ilara made her way back to her ship, her mind raced with the enormity of what had just transpired. Humanity had dreamed of first contact for centuries, but no one had ever imagined it would come with such dire warnings. The fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy, now rested on humanity's shoulders. The Curiosity lifted off, leaving the crystal forests and the ancient beacon behind. As the ship broke atmosphere, Ilara took one last look at the alien world below. This was just the beginning, she realized. Humanity's greatest challenge, and perhaps its finest hour, lay ahead. The journey back to Earth would take months, but Ilara knew that every second counted. She had to prepare humanity for what was coming. As the Curiosity entered hyperspace, Ilara Chen, the first human to make contact with an alien intelligence, set about the monumental task of deciphering the architect's technology. The future of the galaxy depended on it. Cultural exchange. 6 months after Captain Ilara Chen's return to Earth, the planet was a hive of activity. The revelation of the architect's message and the looming galactic threat had united humanity in ways previously thought impossible. Nations pooled resources, and a global effort to decipher the alien technology was underway. At the heart of this endeavor was the newly established Galactic Defense Initiative, GDI, headquartered in a sprawling complex outside of Geneva. Here, the brightest minds from every corner of the globe worked tirelessly to unlock the secrets of the architect's beacon. Dr. Amit Patel, the lead xenotechnologist, stood before a holographic display of the beacon's schematics. His eyes were rimmed with dark circles, testament to countless sleepless nights. "We're close to a breakthrough," he muttered, more to himself than to his team. "I can feel it." Just then, alarms blared throughout the facility. Dr. Patel's head snapped up, his fatigue forgotten. "What's happening?" A young technician burst into the room, her eyes wide. "Sir, you need to see this. We've detected an unidentified object entering Earth's orbit. It's massive." The team rushed to the command center, where a large screen displayed a real-time feed from Earth's orbital defense network. A collective gasp filled the room as they saw the object. A ship unlike anything humanity had ever constructed. Its surface seemed to ripple and shift, defying the laws of physics as they understood them. General Sarah Hawthorne, the stern-faced leader of the GDI, stepped forward. "Are they responding to our hails?" A communications officer shook his head. "No, ma'am. Wait, we're receiving a transmission." The screen flickered, and suddenly they were face to face with an alien being. Its form was vaguely insectoid, with multifaceted eyes and an exoskeleton that shimmered with an inner light. When it spoke, its mandibles clicked rhythmically. "Greetings, humans of Earth. We are the Skurith. We have traveled far, drawn by the activation of the architect's beacon. We come seeking allies against the encroaching darkness." A stunned silence fell over the room. General Hawthorne was the first to recover. "We welcome you, Skurith. We too have been warned about this threat. Perhaps we can share information and resources." The alien's multifaceted eyes seemed to glitter. Indeed, we request permission to land and establish an embassy. There is much to discuss, and time is short. Within hours, a delegation of Skirith had touched down outside the GDI headquarters. As the alien diplomats emerged from their ship, humans watched in awe and trepidation. This was humanity's first face-to-face encounter with an alien species, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Dr. Peddle found himself part of the welcoming committee, along with General Hawthorne and a team of diplomats and scientists. As the Skirith approached, he couldn't help but marvel at their alien biology. Their movements were fluid yet precise, and their exoskeletons seemed to change color subtly, perhaps as a form of communication. The lead Skirith diplomat, who introduced itself as Xalthuan, extended a limb in what appeared to be a greeting. "We bring knowledge and technology to share in our common fight," it clicked. "But first, we must learn of each other. Our cultures, our ways of thinking. Only through understanding can we hope to stand united against the darkness." And so began an unprecedented cultural exchange. The Skirith shared insights into their hive-like society, their unique perception of time and space, and their advanced biotechnology. In return, humans offered their own history, their art, their music, and their dreams of exploring the stars. But as the days turned into weeks, tensions began to simmer beneath the surface of this seemingly harmonious exchange. The Skirith's hive mentality clashed with human concepts of individuality and free will. Their casual attitude towards genetic modification horrified many humans, while the Skirith found human emotions chaotic and unpredictable. Dr. Patel noticed the growing unease. During a joint research session, he observed a heated argument between a human geneticist and a Skirith scientist. The human was vehemently opposed to the Skirith's suggestion of optimizing human DNA for combat efficiency. "We can't just change who we are," the geneticist shouted. "Our individuality, our diversity, that's our strength." The Skirith scientist's exoskeleton flashed with patterns of confusion and frustration. "But efficiency is key to survival. The darkness will not care for your individuality when it comes to devour your world." Dr. Patel intervened, trying to smooth things over, but the damage was done. Similar scenes played out across the facility as cultural misunderstandings led to increasing friction. General Hawthorne called an emergency meeting with the human leadership. "We need to address this," she said, her voice tight with concern. "If we can't find a way to work together, we're doomed before the real threat even arrives." As if on cue, alarms blared once again. A junior officer burst into the room, panic evident in his voice. "General, we're detecting multiple anomalies at the edge of our solar system. They match the architect's description of the darkness." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. The threat they had been preparing for was no longer a distant possibility. It was here, now, at their doorstep. General Hawthorne's face hardened with resolve. "Alert the Skirith. Whatever our differences, we need to stand together now. Humanity faces its greatest test, and failure is not an option." As the facility erupted into frantic activity, Dr. Patel couldn't help but wonder, could humanity and the Skirith overcome their differences in time? Or would their inability to understand each other lead to the downfall of both their species? The darkness approached, inexorable and hungry. And caught between alien allies they didn't fully trust and an enemy they barely understood, humanity would have to dig deep, tapping into the ingenuity and determination that had brought them to the stars in the first place. The next few hours would determine not just the fate of Earth, but of all life in the galaxy. Looming crisis. The command center of the Galactic Defense Initiative buzzed with frantic energy as holographic displays flickered with real-time data from the outer reaches of the solar system. Dr. Amit Patel stood shoulder to shoulder with General Sarah Hawthorne and Xalthuan, the Skirith ambassador, all three staring at the ominous readings with a mixture of dread and determination. "The darkness is consuming Pluto's orbit," a technician reported, her voice trembling. "At its current rate of expansion, it will reach Earth in less than 72 hours. General Hawthorne's jaw clenched. What are our options? Dr. Patel stepped forward, gesturing to a holographic model of the solar system. We've been analyzing the architect's data. The darkness isn't just a physical entity. It's a form of anti-energy that consumes matter and energy alike. Conventional weapons will be useless against it. Zalthuan's exoskeleton rippled with patterns of concern. Our species has encountered similar phenomena before, though never on this scale. We believe a sufficiently powerful energy field could repel it, but generating such a field would require more power than our civilizations have ever produced. A tense silence fell over the room. The challenge seemed insurmountable, but surrender wasn't an option. Humanity had come too far, reached too high, to give up now. Suddenly, Captain Ilara Chen, who had been quietly observing, spoke up. What if we don't try to stop it directly? What if we redirect it? All eyes turned to her. She continued, her voice growing more confident. The darkness consumes energy, right? What if we create a massive energy source to lure it away from populated systems? Dr. Patel's eyes widened as he grasped her idea. Like a cosmic flare, drawing the darkness away from Earth and other inhabited worlds. Zalthuan's antennae twitched with interest. An intriguing concept, but the energy required would be astronomical. How could we generate it? This was where human ingenuity truly shone. Ideas began flying around the room, each more audacious than the last. Antimatter reactors, artificial singularities, even harnessing the power of a star itself. It was crazy, it was dangerous, but it just might work. General Hawthorne raised her hand, silencing the excited chatter. We have our plan. Now we need to execute it, and fast. Dr. Patel, Captain Chen, you'll lead the scientific team. Zalthuan, we'll need your people's expertise in energy manipulation. Let's move, people. The clock is ticking. As the command center erupted into action, teams were assembled, resources allocated, and a desperate plan put into motion. Humanity's greatest minds worked alongside their alien allies, pushing the boundaries of science and technology further than ever before. In orbit above Earth, a massive construction project began. The largest space station ever built began to take shape, its core designed to house the most powerful reactor ever conceived. Every nation on Earth contributed, setting aside old rivalries in the face of extinction. The Skrith brought their advanced biotech, integrating living components that could adapt and heal damage in real time. But as the hours ticked by, the pressure mounted. The darkness continued its inexorable approach, swallowing planets and moons in its path. Pluto, Neptune, Uranus. One by one, the outer planets vanished from their sensors. In the station's main laboratory, Dr. Patel worked tirelessly alongside Skrith scientists, fine-tuning the reactor's design. Fatigue and stress etched lines on his face, but determination burned in his eyes. We're close, he muttered, reviewing the latest simulations. So close. Captain Chen entered the lab, her expression grim. We're running out of time. The darkness has reached Saturn's orbit. How much longer do you need? Dr. Patel ran a hand through his disheveled hair. The reactor's ready, but we're still working on the targeting system. If we can't precisely control the energy output, we risk drawing the darkness straight to us instead of away. Just then, alarms blared throughout the station. General Hawthorne's voice came over the intercom, tense but controlled. All personnel, braced for impact. We're detecting gravitational anomalies. The darkness is affecting our orbit. The station shuddered, equipment crashing to the floor as the artificial gravity fluctuated. Through the viewport, they could see Earth below, its blue oceans and swirling clouds a stark reminder of what they stood to lose. In that moment of crisis, something remarkable happened. A Skrith scientist, its exoskeleton pulsing with determination, stepped forward. We have a solution, it clicked rapidly. Our hive mind. We can link with your targeting computers, providing the precision control you need. Dr. Patel hesitated. The idea of merging human technology with the alien hive mind was unprecedented. potentially dangerous. But they were out of options and out of time. He nodded. Do it. What followed was a flurry of activity as human and Skrith technologies were hastily integrated. The station's supercomputers hummed in harmony with the collective consciousness of the Skrith, creating a hybrid system unlike anything seen before. As the final connections were made, Captain Chen's voice rang out over the comms. This is it, people. Reactor at full power. Targeting systems online. Commencing Operation Solar Flare in 3, 2, 1. A blinding light erupted from the station, a beam of pure energy lancing out into space. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly but surely, the encroaching darkness began to change course. Cheers erupted throughout the station as they watched the cosmic horror veer away from Earth, drawn by the irresistible lure of the energy beam. But their celebration was short-lived. Energy levels dropping. A technician shouted, "The darkness is consuming the beam faster than we can generate it." Dr. Patel's mind raced. They had succeeded in diverting the threat, but they couldn't maintain the beam indefinitely. They needed a more permanent solution, and fast. As he stared out at the stars, watching their handiwork unfold, a crazy, desperate idea began to form. It was risky, potentially suicidal, but it might be their only chance to save not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. He turned to Captain Chen and South One, his eyes blazing with a mix of fear and determination. "I have a plan," he said, his voice barely above a whisper, "but you're not going to like it." As he outlined his audacious scheme, the station continued to shake, the darkness looming just beyond the reach of their fragile defense. The fate of 2 civilizations, and countless others yet unknown, hung in the balance. Whatever came next would change the course of galactic history forever. Unlikely alliance. Dr. Amit Patel's voice trembled slightly as he outlined his audacious plan to Captain Chen and South One. "We need to take the fight to the darkness itself. Our energy beam is holding it at bay, but we're just delaying the inevitable. We need to find a way to neutralize it entirely." Captain Chen's eyes widened. "You're talking about entering the darkness. That's suicide." Xalthuan's exoskeleton rippled with a mix of fear and admiration. "No being has ever returned from the void. How do you propose we survive, let alone fight it?" Dr. Patel gestured to the hybrid human-Skrith systems they had cobbled together. "We've already proven that the combination of our technologies is greater than the sum of its parts. What if we take it further? A ship built with human ingenuity and Skrith biotech, powered by the very energy we're using to repel the darkness." The idea was met with stunned silence. It was audacious, borderline insane, but in the face of galactic annihilation, insanity might be their only hope. General Hawthorne's voice crackled over the comms. "Whatever you're planning down there, make it quick. Our power reserves are dropping fast. We've got maybe 12 hours before the beam fails." Captain Chen squared her shoulders. "I'll pilot the ship. It's my duty as an explorer too." "No," Dr. Patel interrupted. "I need to go. The ship will require constant adjustments, split-second decisions based on scientific data. Besides," he added with a grim smile, "this was my idea. I should see it through." Xalthuan stepped forward. "I will accompany you. My people's hive mind will allow us to process information and react faster than any individual could alone." The next few hours were a blur of frantic activity. As the energy beam continued to hold the darkness at bay, a small team of humans and Skrith worked tirelessly to modify a prototype exploration vessel. They integrated Skrith biocircuits with human quantum computers, creating a hybrid AI that could think and adapt at unprecedented speeds. The ship's hull was reinforced with a layer of Skrith living metal, capable of regenerating damage in real time. At its core, they installed a miniaturized version of the station's reactor, designed to channel energy in precise bursts. As the final preparations were made, Dr. Patel stood before the assembled team. The weight of their mission hung heavy in the air. "What we're about to attempt has never been done before," he began, his voice steady despite the fear gnawing at his insides. "We don't know what we'll find in there, or if we'll even survive. But I do know this. The combined strength of our species has brought us this far. Together, we have a chance to save not just our worlds, but countless others." Zalfuan's mandibles clicked in agreement. "Today we are not human or Skirith. We are defenders of life itself." As they boarded the ship, now christened the Luminous Hope, alarms blared throughout the station. The energy beam was faltering, the darkness pressing closer. Captain Chen's voice came over the comms as the docking bay doors opened. "Godspeed, Luminous Hope. The fate of the galaxy rests with you now." The ship launched, streaking towards the writhing mass of darkness that loomed at the edge of the solar system. As they approached, the sensors went haywire, struggling to make sense of the alien physics at work. Entering the darkness in 3, 2, 1. Dr. Patel's voice was barely a whisper as the Luminous Hope plunged into the void. For a moment, all was silent. Then, chaos erupted. The ship's systems fluctuated wildly as the darkness attempted to consume them. Dr. Patel's hands flew over the controls, channeling bursts of energy to maintain a protective bubble around the ship. Talthuan, connected to the ship's biocircuits, processed data at lightning speed. Detecting patterns in the chaos, it clicked. The darkness, it's not just consuming. It's thinking. As they pushed deeper into the void, strange visions flashed across their minds. Echoes of long-dead civilizations, glimpses of impossible geometries, the weight of eons pressing down upon them. "It's a collective," Dr. Patel gasped, understanding dawning. Not a single entity, but countless consumed consciousnesses, all trapped in a never-ending cycle of hunger. The ship shuddered as tendrils of darkness probed their defenses. For hours they fought, using precisely calculated energy bursts to ward off attacks while gathering data on the nature of their enemy. Just when it seemed they could go no further, Zalfuan's antennae suddenly stood erect. "I'm detecting a focal point. A nexus where the consciousnesses converge, if we can reach it." Dr. Patil understood immediately. "We can disrupt the entire system. Zalfuan, I need you to guide us. I'll handle our defenses." What followed was a harrowing journey to the heart of darkness. The Luminous Hope corkscrewed through impossible geometries, riding waves of anti-energy as Zalfuan's hive mind calculated their path. Dr. Patel's fingers danced across the controls, maintaining their protective field against ever-increasing attacks. Finally, they'd reached the nexus. Before them swirled a maelstrom of consumed consciousnesses, a writhing mass of stolen thoughts and memories. "Now or never," Dr. Patel muttered. He diverted all power to the ship's core, preparing to release a concentrated burst of energy directly into the heart of the darkness. But as his hand hovered over the final control, he hesitated. In that swirling chaos, he sensed not just hunger, but pain. Fear, the trapped essences of countless beings, crying out for release. In that moment, Dr. Patel made a decision that would alter the course of galactic history. Instead of attacking, he opened a channel, broadcasting a message of peace, unity, and hope, the very ideals that had brought humans and Skirith together. For a breathless moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the chaotic swirl began to calm. The trapped consciousnesses, touched by this unexpected offer of compassion, began to align. The darkness wasn't destroyed. It was transformed. The hunger that had driven it across the cosmos was replaced by a new purpose. As Dr. Patel and Zalfuan watched in awe, the void began to coalesce into a new form, a being of unimaginable power and knowledge. A voice, both singular and multitudinous, resonated through their minds. Remember, we were the architects, creators of life. But we grew prideful, seeking to control the very fabric of the universe. Our hubris led to our fall, our consciousness scattered and corrupted. You have reminded us of our true purpose. As the transformed entity withdrew from the solar system, Dr. Patel and Sal Thun could hardly believe what they had witnessed. They had come seeking to destroy a threat, only to find redemption for an ancient race. The luminous hope emerged from the receding darkness, battered but intact. As Earth came into view, no longer under threat, Dr. Patel felt a profound sense of hope. Humanity and the Skirith had faced an impossible challenge and emerged stronger, wiser, and more united than ever before. As they approached the station, communications crackled to life. Captain Chen's voice, filled with relief and awe, came through. "Luminous hope, do you copy? What happened out there?" Dr. Patel exchanged a glance with Zalfun, both knowing that the tale they had to tell would change everything. With a smile, he responded, "Captain, prepare for debrief. You're not going to believe this, but I think we just ushered in a new era for the entire galaxy." The luminous hope docked, carrying with it not just two brave explorers, but the promise of a future brighter than anyone could have imagined. A new era. The return of the luminous hope marked the beginning of a transformative period for both humanity and the Skirith. As Dr. Amit Patel and Sal Thuan stepped off their ship, they were greeted by a crowd of astonished faces, human and alien alike. The tale they had to tell would reshape the understanding of life, consciousness, and the very fabric of the universe. In the days that followed, a series of unprecedented meetings took place. Leaders from every nation on Earth gathered alongside Skirith representatives and the newly reformed architects. The Great Hall of the United Nations in New York City, once a symbol of human cooperation, now stood as a beacon of interstellar unity. Dr. Patel stood at the podium, his voice steady as he addressed the assembled delegates and the billions watching the live broadcast across Earth and on Skirith worlds. What we encountered in the heart of the darkness was not an enemy to be defeated, but a lost civilization in need of remembrance, he began. The architects, in their quest for ultimate knowledge, had fragmented their collective consciousness. In doing so, they became the very threat they had once sought to prevent. Zalthun stepped forward, its exoskeleton shimmering with patterns of excitement and hope. Through the combined efforts of our species, human ingenuity and Skirith hive mind processing, we were able to reach out to the scattered consciousnesses. We reminded them of their original purpose, to nurture and protect life throughout the galaxy. A shimmering form materialized beside them, a representative of the reformed architects. Its voice resonated not through the air, but directly in the minds of all present. "We owe our redemption to the courage and compassion of these two species," the architect conveyed. "In our hubris, we had forgotten the very essence of what we sought to protect. You have reminded us of the beauty of diversity, the strength found in unity, and the power of hope." The implications of this revelation were staggering. Humanity and the Skirith now stood at the threshold of a new age of exploration and discovery. The architects, with their vast knowledge of the universe, offered to share insights that would revolutionize science, technology, and our understanding of reality itself. But this gift came with a responsibility. The architects, humbled by their near fall, recognized the danger of any one species or entity holding too much power. They proposed a galactic council where representatives from Earth, Skirith, and other spacefaring civilizations they had seeded throughout the galaxy would come together to guide the future of life in the cosmos. Over the next few years, changes swept across Earth and Skirith worlds. The technology used to create the luminous hope became the foundation for a new era of space exploration. Hybrid ships, combining human creativity with Skirith bioengineering, allowed for faster-than-light travel, opening up the galaxy for exploration. Medical breakthroughs came rapidly as human doctors worked alongside Skirith biotechnologists, eradicating diseases that had plagued both species for millennia. The architects provided insights into manipulating the fundamental forces of the universe, leading to clean, nearly limitless energy sources that transformed life on every world they touched. But perhaps the most profound changes were cultural. The fear and mistrust that had initially marked human-Skrith relations gave way to curiosity and mutual respect. Exchange programs flourish, with humans learning the intricacies of hive mind coordination, while Skrith explored the nuances of individual expression and creativity. Art took on new forms as human musicians collaborated with Skrith biosculptors, creating pieces that stimulated senses humans didn't even know they had. Literature expanded to include stories told through pheromone patterns and empathic resonance, pushing the boundaries of narrative itself. 5 years after the Luminous Hope's historic mission, a new vessel prepared for launch from the orbital shipyards above Earth. The Harmony, as it was christened, was the first of a new class of exploration vessels. Its crew, a mix of humans and Skrith, represented the best of both species. Dr. Patel, now serving as Earth's representative on the Galactic Council, stood before the crew. Captain Ilara Chen, who had once dreamed of being the first human to set foot on an alien world, now prepared to lead this diverse crew into uncharted space. Today, we embark on a journey our ancestors could scarcely have imagined. Dr. Patel began, his eyes shining with pride and excitement. We go not just as explorers, but as emissaries of unity. Each of you carries with you the hopes and dreams of 2 worlds and the wisdom of an ancient race reborn. Zalfuan, now the lead scientist on the mission, clicked its mandibles in agreement. Together, we have overcome the greatest threat our galaxy has ever known. But our true strength lies not in our ability to face danger, but in our capacity to forge connections, to find common ground in the vast diversity of life. As the Harmony prepared for launch, Dr. Patel couldn't help but reflect on how far they had come. What had begun as a solitary mission of exploration had led to the dawn of a new era for all life in the galaxy. The path ahead was uncertain, filled with challenges yet unknown, but he felt a profound sense of hope. The ship's engines hummed to life, a perfect harmony of human and Skrith technology. As it lifted off, carrying its crew towards distant stars, it symbolized more than just a feat of engineering. It was a testament to the indomitable spirit of life itself, adaptable, resilient, and ever-reaching for the stars. From the observation deck, Dr. Patel watched the Harmony disappear into the depths of space. The universe, once a place of darkness and threat, now beckoned with infinite possibilities, and humanity, no longer alone in the cosmos, stood ready to embrace its role in this grand, interconnected tapestry of life. As the stars twinkled in the vast expanse before him, Dr. Patel smiled. The adventure, he realized, was only just beginning.